Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's episode of Rabbi E in 3D, brought to you as always by MEOR DC, and now in the company of, well, don't worry about him over there, but we're in exile. We're in exile now in the Torah portion, the last one of the book of Genesis, Vayechi, this week's Torah portion. It's the beginning of the Jewish people's period in exile, which is discussed in the next book of the Torah, Exodus, Shmos. Of course, it's very relevant probably at the end of the secular calendar year of 2020. We probably all feel like we ourselves personally, or if not that, then certainly the nation, the world, in a kind of an exile. Exile, galut in Hebrew, doesn't just mean a physical displacement or dislocation. That's part of it, but it's also a spiritual concept of being cut off, of being blocked, of not feeling a connection to our deeper selves, to a higher purpose, a higher meaning, what's called hester panim, the hiding of the face of God, as it were. That's one of the hallmarks of galut, of exile, as our great Jewish sages teach us, and as we in our history have lived through it. But it's the beginning of a new secular calendar year, 2021. I'm going to drink l'chaim. It's not, Shabbos is coming. This is coffee, but I'll drink l'chaim. Coffee is energizing. And so I want to bring a positive message. The Torah portion brings a very positive message. It's called Vayechi, and it talks about the final 17 years of Yaakov, Jacob, our patriarch's life in Egypt. And it doesn't just begin, and Jacob dwelled in Egypt, or Jacob was in Egypt for the last 17 years. It uses a much more striking, evocative word, Vayechi Yaakov, which literally means, and he was alive, stressing he was alive. It's not the normal way for the Torah just to mark a certain amount of time someone is in a certain place. Vayechi, and Jacob was alive in Egypt for 17 years, the final 17 years of his life. Our great deeper commentaries tell us that the Torah is showing us something very powerful, not just about Jacob, Yaakov, our great patriarch, but about the Jewish people and the Jewish spirit. Even in times of darkness and exile, we are able to not just survive, not just endure, not just suffer through it, but actually live. And in the Torah, broader Jewish sense, live means being spiritually connected. In other words, to be connected to our deeper selves, to our higher ideals, to Hashem, to a feeling of closeness to God, even in Egypt, even where the pyramids and the rest of Egyptian civilization, which was great as a civilization, but the antithesis of the values of Jacob's family, the covenant of ethical monotheism and righteousness and moral purity that has come down now that the Jewish people were the continuation of that covenant. Egypt represented the opposite of that, polytheism and immorality, and yet Jacob, Yaakov, Vayechi be'eretz Mitzrayim. He lived. He didn't get destroyed spiritually by Egypt. He thrived. He lived in Egypt. In all difficult environments throughout our history, the Jewish people have been able to tap into the deeper sources of our being. We'll talk about why in a second. I'm really watching my time today. I'm going to stop one of my New Year's resolutions for 2021 is not to say, hey, it'll be 5 minutes and it turns into 20 minutes. Not going to happen. But the Jewish people collectively have always been able to find the deeper life source and well springs of our being, of our consciousness, of our spirituality in dark times, in ghettos, in concentration camps even. Individuals also, we have the same dynamic in our lives. We have periods of darkness and revelation, exile and redemption. We can also live Vayechi like Yaakov. We can do it in hopefully the times will get brighter and brighter for the world with the vaccine and so much else, in good things for this coming year. It's already the year 5781, of course, but 2021, we can live, but we have to work to push away the clouds. We can't, in fact, great rabbis tell us, even when we're not sure if we can ever break through the clouds. We have to have emunah, faith and faithfulness, and keep trying and keep plunging and keep digging to find the nekuda of emes, the point of truth in our own hearts and souls. Look for that same point of truth and goodness in others and in the situation. And then we can thrive and we can live and be alive, even in Egypt, even with the Sphinx in our background and pyramids and everything else. Now, I must tell you that it's time to go, and I am sticking to my time, as I said. But you might say, well, Rabbi, very nice. How can we, though, keep that inspiration wherever we are? How can we really live? Especially, Egypt was like a death-obsessed civilization. Yaakov lived there. Well, there are many things. There's community. Yaakov, Jacob, the patriarch, lived in a small, an isolated area of Egypt called Goshen that Joseph had prepared for them, because to have one's own cocoon, even if one is connected, of course, to a larger society, but a cocoon to, maybe cocoon's the right word, maybe the wrong word, I don't know, but a place, an environment, a positive environment to draw strength from and inspiration from. Environment and community, Torah study, the most important of all the mitzvot, our rabbis tell us. Torah study keeps us alive, keeps us connected to ourselves, and inspires us to do all the other observances in mitzvot, which are candles of light in our lives. But the wellspring, the MEOR, the wonderful organization I work for, MEOR means source of light. That is the Torah itself. And Shabbos, day of light, day of enjoyment. That's coming right now, very soon. And that's why I'm going to leave you. So we don't just have to survive. We have to survive. God willing, we will. But we can be alive. We can live. And even in Egypt, even in a place called Egypt, even in this place, something like Shabbos can, bear with me for the joke, for the visual joke, okay? Even something, there can be Shabbos in Egypt. And it can be beautiful there, because Shabbos is its own beautiful environment. The Torah is its own environment. Wherever we are, the noise around us, the chaos around us, the darkness around us, we can tap into the light of the Torah, into the light of the commandments, into the light of vibrant Jewish communities, helping each other, doing kindness, and the light and beauty of Shabbos. Vayechi, Yaakov lived in Egypt, and we can live in 2021. We, the Jewish people, the American country, the American nation, the whole world, God willing, can find meaning, light, revelation in what has been a dark period. God willing, together we'll experience that. Even though Shabbos in Egypt is nice, because Shabbos is always beautiful, I think it's going to be a little bit nicer in an environment like, hold on, final visual joke and final seconds of this Rabbi E in 3D. Here we go. Have a good Shabbos from MEOR DC. Thank you for listening. And I really look for, and L'chaim, my coffee. L'chaim, may the energy of this coffee, I don't know, get me to stop already and to get ready for Shabbos. And then I can, my family, have a real L'chaim over Shabbos. May you have a real L'chaim over Shabbos. Be healthy, be safe, be in touch. Thank you so much for listening. Good Shabbos. And that's all for now.